There is plenty of big sports news to recap and to preview today. This weekend, Serena Williams and Roger Federer both emerged victorious from their Australian Open final matches to take home the Grand Slam title. And of course, coming up this Sunday is Super Bowl 51 between the New England Patriots and the Atlanta Falcons in Houston, Texas. Here to break it all down for us is CBS Sports columnist and host of Reiter Than You, Bill Reiter. He's in Houston. So, Bill, let's start with the Australian Open. Serena Williams defeated her sister Venus in what was their 15th overall meeting in a Grand Slam final match. What does this win do for her legacy, not just in the women's game, but the sport of tennis overall?
Yeah, I was talking with Andy Roddick and some other former tennis players about this the other day, and I think you can make a compelling argument that not only is Serena clearly the best female tennis player of all time, she's certainly in the conversation for greatest tennis player in the history of the sport. And I think, Vlad, you have to put her up there when you talk about those transcendent athletes that have defined American sports the last 20 years, whether it's LeBron James, Michael Jordan, Tom Brady, Tiger Woods. Serena Williams and all she's accomplished, it puts her in that class of athlete as well.
I think a lot of people would agree with you. Let's talk about Roger Federer beating Rafael Nadal in 5 sets on Sunday and set the men's title record with his now 18th Grand Slam. Will anyone ever come close to taking Roger's crown as the king?
I mean, I want to say no because it's such a startling accomplishment. And really, that finals was amazing. It was like Back to the Future. It was 2000. Well, we all woke up and it felt like the sporting world of 2007. But what Federer has shown us, and we've seen this from Tom Brady here at the Super Bowl and other sports, is that athletes are not just playing and competing much longer into their lives than they used to a generation ago, but they're doing it at a really high level. So I'll say it's a very high watermark to try to reach. But Djokovic, who not that long ago was the most dominant tennis force on earth, does have 12 Grand Slams. It's just, I say just, but it's just 6 behind Federer. So probably not, but it's a golden age really for all-time greats in men's singles competition. If anyone can do it, it is Djokovic, but Federer certainly made it even harder and more difficult to get there, given the fact that at a point we all wrote him off. Obviously, he's once again a champion.
All right, Bill, you mentioned Tom Brady. Let's talk about Brady and the Patriots. Obviously, the big story, the Super Bowl this Sunday. Brady making a 7th Super Bowl appearance with Coach Bill Belichick. Very different from where the season started with the suspension.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. I suppose all of us need to stop doubting the New England Patriots as long as Bill Belichick is the head coach and Tom Brady is the quarterback. But you're right. I mean, it's easy to forget at this point with Brady on the cusp of potentially a 5th Super Bowl championship that he missed the first 4 games because of suspension from Deflategate. He had really had his reputation tarnished, and he's a very old man by football standards, Vlad. You're talking about a guy who's 39 years old, and yet it being a football season in which Tom Brady's a quarterback, here we are again, another Super Bowl where he's on the cusp of doing it again.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking about guys who were around the age that Tom Brady is, and I started trying to remember, how old Joe Montana was when he retired, or Dan Marino. It had to have been around the same time, or probably in their very early 40s. But by the time that they did retire, 2 of the greatest NFL quarterbacks, they were not as dominant as they had been during their incredible careers. And here you have a guy who's pushing 40 who continues to dominate the game.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, Peyton Manning is the contemporary of Tom Brady you can measure him the most readily against, but it's easy to forget. Peyton Manning last year won a Super Bowl, but was an awful quarterback, was by definition the worst quarterback in the history of the Super Bowl, not just to make a Super Bowl, but to win it. So here's Tom Brady, older than Peyton Manning was last year, not just in the game, but having arguably the best year of his career. And just to put that in context, in the AFC Championship game a few weeks ago against the Steelers, Tom Brady, at the ripe old age of 39, set a record for passing yards in a single postseason game by the Patriots organization. Obviously, he beat his own mark from 2014. He's not just timeless, he's remarkable as he's timeless. It's incredible.
All right, on the other side, on Sunday, will be MVP candidate quarterback Matt Ryan for the Atlanta Falcons. He got all-star wide receiver Julio Jones being on the receiving end of Ryan's throws. I mean, how are they going to be stopped? How do the Pats expect to stop them?
Yeah, and a pretty nice dual threat at running back. I mean, with most teams, the answer, I think, would probably be they're not going to be stopped But if anybody can do it, it's the Patriots and Bill Belichick. And not just that answer, but Bill Belichick with a couple of weeks, Vlad, to plan and scheme. And I think it's worth noting, even though it's been talked about and it sounds like a cliche, the Patriots take very seriously the fact they view Roger Goodell's actions at the start of the season with the suspension against Tom Brady as being really unfair, tarnishing what they view as a dynasty and a legacy. They won't talk about it in press conferences, but people around that organization are very aware that this is a revenge tour. And so Bill Belichick, not that he's not focused in other situations, is going to be honed in, is going to have a scheme ready. It's really hard to stop the Falcons. If anyone can do it, it's the Patriots. And what really the game plan here is you slow them down, you get pressure, you try to limit points, and you hope that Tom Brady can beat them in the air and they can score obviously more points than the Falcons. You're not going to hold them to 13 points, but if you can keep them to 20 or 27, you got a shot.
Will be an exciting game. As a Giant fan, I can't stand seeing the Pats in the big game, but got to give them props. They earned the right to be there. CBS Sports' Bill Reiter. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you.